Welcome, it's Sportsbet Daily at oddsmarket.com. It's that time of the week again where the big man on campus joins me. So that means lower leagues. Been a bit tough the last couple of weeks, but this week I think there's some shining lights. Big man, how are you, mate?
I'm doing well. I agree with you. I really like this card. I have a few for all the leagues, and I'm excited about it, Flash. I think there's some real good spots. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, I'm actually going to have a couple in the championship, which is like a rarer light than Halley's Comet, because I try and steer clear. But I think I may have found a couple of gems, but not my normal over 2.3, 2.4. In fact, I've gone really conservative just to try and get a winning parlay back on the board. You kick us off then, mate.
Yeah, I only have one in the championship. I'm going to just stick to just one play. It's going to be an easy one for me. Swansea, 1.91 against Reading. I'm going to stick with the home side here, a home side that's been really good. And I'm going to fade a Reading side that even back into last year, I faded on the road. I don't think this is a particularly good group. I like what I'm seeing out of Swansea up front. It's always tough to go to Wales and play. They're scoring goals, playing good defensively. I think it's a pretty easy one. I'm going to go job done, Swansea, 1.91. That's that.
Okay, well, I'm going Blackburn at home to Luton. And the reason I'm going for them is Blackburn far too big, far too strong, and teams are starting to work out how to play against Luton because Luton are that all-or-nothing side that, listen, they're not going to go down without a fight this year. But Blackburn at home, starting to turn things around, but they're big and they're strong. And on home field, 1.75, that'll do me great. Now, the other one in the championship, and I think this is an absolute knocker, Preston and Bristol City, both teams to score over 2.5, no. 1.66. Remember the 5 that I'm going to give today, I'm sticking them all together, not complicating it. What do you think about that, Preston and Bristol City?
Yeah, well, I first wanted to just touch on your first play there with the Luton and Blackburn match. I think you're onto something here with Luton. I think they're fun to watch going forward, but I talked about last week, they just don't seem like they're ready to defend at this level. I think as the season goes on, they're already starting to really give up a lot of goals. You look at there's only one team. Actually, there's only two teams that have been worse defensively than Luton. I think those trends are going to continue. As far as your other game, Preston's actually been quite good, and they're back to that normal Preston side. They're scoring goals, and they've been particularly good in front of net. I like your thought there. I have a feeling that Bristol City will not score in this game. Both these teams have been so good defensively. This seems like a 1-0 game, Flash. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Yeah, I think you're onto something here. I don't want to pick a winner, but
yeah, I just look at this and I think Preston well organised. They don't go and batter sides. Bristol City don't get battered. They're so organised. They're happy to go on the road and maybe try and nick something in the last 10 minutes. If it doesn't happen, they come away with a 0-0. I think it's a dour game. So both teams to score an over 2.5. No at 1.66. That's going to go in with the Blackburn and Luton. Take me into League One, please, big man.
Yeah, as I said, just Swansea for me in the championship. In League One, I have 3 here that I'm going to roll with. First one's going to be, and again, I normally don't lay prices like this, but I have to do it here. I'm going with Ipswich. What do we got? 1.65 I got. Look, Tranmere, I think if you're the only way you can back Tranmere is at home. I have no interest on the road. They're giving up a ton of goals. This seems like a great spot to not only take Ipswich just to win. James Norwood anytime. I've bet on it before. I'll bet on it again. I have no reason to think Tranmere can defend at a high level in this game against one of the best teams in League One. 2 other ones. This is one I'm sure you'll be on. I'm excited to hear what you think about it. Peterborough -1 against Wimbledon at 1.95. Wimbledon and Bolton are the only 2 teams that have not won a game in this league this year. They're giving up goals. They're not scoring any either. Listen, to beat Peterborough and Ivan Toney and those guys, you have to score goals. Wimbledon don't do that. And they got to travel up to Peterborough. I just don't have any reason to think that's not 2-0, maybe 3-1. And one other one, Flash. You've heard this from me before. I'm not going to stop. Southend over 2.5. They're getting Accrington Stanley this week, who, if you look at Stanley, they've not exactly been great in front of goal either. Both these teams are giving up a ton. And look, Southend are shambles defensively, giving up 24 on the season. They're giving up almost 3 goals a game. Until these overs don't come in, I'm not going to stop betting them.
Is that both teams to score an over or just over?
I'm going to just go with over 2.5, 1.8. I feel like it's a fine play. It wouldn't surprise me if a team gets, 3-0. I don't really, whatever you want to do here. I think they're both solid bets. If you don't really want to swallow juice, you just want to lay the even money. Both teams should find the back of that. Just seems at worst 2-1, but I'll just look over 2.5 here.
Okay, well I've gone a bit more conservative than my normal win. I'm going Sunderland at home to MK Dons, 1.66. MK Dons, tippy tappy like a football match. Sunderland on the back of a 1-0 victory at Bramall Lane last night. I had quite a few people there. I asked them to keep. I thought that this was a game I was going to be interested in. Sunderland, so comfortable at the back. That tells me I'm not expecting MK Dons to score. I'm expecting Sunderland to get a lot of confidence from that last night and kick on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be with them every single week because they can let you down. The other one, we've been on them the last few weeks, or we've been in games that they've been involved in. Oxford at home to Gillingham. I couldn't believe the price at 1.83. Last night, at half-time, they were plus 650 to beat West Ham, and I was this close to pressing the button, and I never did it, and I was absolutely kicking myself. It had cup shock all over it last night. We know what West Ham are like when they play in the cups against the lower league, and Oxford score goals. So for me, Oxford at home to Gillingham at 1.83. Expect that's probably going to be a lot smaller come Saturday morning.
Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. I kind of like over in that match as well. The Sunderland game, I actually wouldn't mind as well. If you like Sunderland, you maybe want to get a little more interesting with it. I like Sunderland to just win, but I also kind of like Sunderland and under 2.5. A big price there, plus 375. So basically 4.75. That's a big price. I could see 2-0 here. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I was even thinking about the win to nil, but then I thought to myself, with my 5 selections, the 5-team parlay, that comes to 14, over 14, prior to me even maybe sticking an Ipswich and a Peterborough -1 in there for a 17 parlay. But my 5, have you got anything in League 2?
Yeah, I do, which I want to get to. But quickly, I want to just mention, Flash definitely loves his Ackers. I'm more of just a straight up better. I like to just play games straight. But we've always had some decent success with throwing a few into parlays. Yeah, I actually have a couple in League 2, Flash. Again, I'm not really sure why Cheltenham is 3.1 to Crewe. I think they're the better side. They're at home. I don't think that's a bad price, 3.1, to take Cheltenham against Crewe Alexandria. I think they're the better side. Exeter Grimsby, both teams to score. Grimsby's been a good team as far as going forward all year. We know what Exeter can do going forward. And then I considered Bradford to beat Scunthorpe. We've kind of piled on Scunthorpe all season. But I will say, out of all the leagues, League 2 are really just games that I think have value. I don't think any of them are like the best plays on the board or anything, but I definitely will take a shot with Cheltenham to beat Crewe. I think that price is too high for them at home.
Well, I'm going with a game that's the same as Bristol City versus Preston. Salford versus Forest Green. Forest Green can't score. Salford, I mean, what are they going to do? Get 1, maybe 2? I've gone Salford and Forest Green, both teams to score an over 2.5. No at 1.6. And that 5-team parlay comes to above 14. So I'll definitely be putting them 5 together. I may squeeze down a few and maybe stick maybe an Ipswich or a Peterborough in there, and I'll tweet that out. But for me, them 5 over 14 looks like the way I'm going to go.
Yeah, I think one other one that I would kind of have my eye on in League 2. I mean, Danny Rose continues to score a lot of goals for Mansfield. They're getting Plymouth this week. Plymouth Argyle have continued to struggle to defend. They're kind of falling down the table a little bit. So they're one I had my eye on. Danny Rose is scoring 8 times. And Flash, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this. In any other sport, I love letdown games. A team off of a high, they come back down and fall. What were your thoughts on Colchester Macclesfield? Because Colchester off a huge win the other night against Tottenham Hotspur. Now you got to go on the road up to small Macclesfield, the team that is getting better. That seems like a real bad spot for Colchester, doesn't it?
Well, it's a real bad spot for us when you mention Colchester, because I was told earlier on in the pre-season that Colchester were a big, strong side that are going to surprise a few, and we've had them on our list twice, and they've let us down. And then I have Swindon to beat Colchester, and they go to Swindon, and Colchester win 3-0. I've got to leave Colchester alone just because I can't get them right. We have them teams now and again, cannot get them right, so leave them alone. They will be full of confidence. And the big thing about that type of thing is you've got players that probably didn't play last night or in the win against Spurs, and then they're going to come into the side or they're going to be left out. So there's always going to be competition for places. When there's competition for places, it's good throughout the squad. Winning's a good habit, the same as losing is a bad habit. The one other thing I want to let people know is Lincoln changing the way they play. It's been so successful over the last 5 seasons with the Cowley brothers. Now Appleton comes in, changing it completely. I'm hearing it's not suiting the players, and that's obvious on the back of a 6-0 home defeat by Oxford.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's not working after you lose 6-0. It's tough to see because I was a Lincoln guy last year. They made me a lot of money last year in League Two, but the move up to League One, I guess, is going to end quicker than maybe we might think. But yeah, there's plenty of options this week to make money. I'm seeing on the chat here, I got a couple other guys mentioning Crawley Town. They've been involved in some of my bets. Look, I like them. They have a ton of goal scorers, Ollie Palmer and a couple others. And they're playing a side this week in Walsall that, Flash, is it safe to say this is the worst team going forward in the top 4 leagues?
Yeah, but they keep keeping.
Horrific.
We said, didn't we, 3 weeks ago when Jack Rose, the understudy, who obviously is on loan from Southampton, he was obviously going to be drafted in. I think they've kept maybe 2 or 3 clean sheets in the lot. And Daryl Clark, my mate, who's the manager, I told that he was going to make sure that they sorted it out at the back first. So I just worry having anything to do with Walsall because 0-0's always on the card, and when a 0-0's on the card, you can always nick one and come away with 3 points, even if it's undeserved.
Hey, Flash, I'll tell you one other thing that one of the chat participants mentioned here. They mentioned Bolton Wanderers and how they drew last week and whatever. Look, I'm starting. There's a channel on YouTube that I find very valuable. It's a fan channel of Bolton Wanderers, and one of the guys that does the channel, he talks about how Bolton have made so many investments in this new team, the new ownership, and I'm noticing Bolton playing a lot better, Flash. They've looked better. They're starting to get some guys in there that can play. They're playing a Portsmouth team this week that I haven't been too impressed with. I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to put a few dollars on Bolton Wanderers to beat Portsmouth at 10.
Yeah, listen, I wouldn't go against it. I mean, they got absolutely run ragged midweek in the South Coast derby. It looked like Premiership boys against non-league boys, 4-0. Southampton didn't even get out of second gear, to be honest, and I thought they were quite sloppy and still won 4-0. Got a few players. A flat-track bullies, Portsmouth. They've got players that will play in League, well, I always call it Division 3 because that's what it is, but League 1. I don't see many of them going up. Pittman's obviously the class in the outfit, but he's not the same as he was obviously 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I wouldn't go against that. And as I said to you 2 weeks ago, I was told that Bolton, like Walsall, is going to make sure that they get it right at the back first.
All right, Flash, let me put together a little parlay for the boys here. I don't do a ton of parlays, but I'm going to do one now. All right, we got League 1. I'm going to go with Ipswich just to win. I'm going to go Peterborough. I guess I'll just throw them in the win. And then League 2, I'm going to go with Bradford. What do you think about Bradford, Flash?
It's one of those that they're starting to turn it round, but they're struggling to keep goals out. I mean, Bradford versus Scunthorpe, gun to my head. I'd like Bradford to win and both teams to score.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do, Flash. I'm going to go with Peterborough to win. I'm going to go with Ipswich Town to win. I'm going to go with Cheltenham to beat Crewe. That's a nice, big,
Yeah, that's a risky one, though.
Underdog. And I'm going to go with your call on Sunderland to beat MK Don. So that's almost 13-1.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to go Blackburn to win, Sunderland to win, Oxford to win, and then Salford and Forest Green, both teams to score and over 2.5. No. Preston and Bristol City, both teams to score and over. No. And that's over 14-1 parlay. And I will maybe do a treble, and I'll make sure I post that on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite plays of the week are going to be Peterborough -1 against Wimbledon, and Ipswich to beat Tranmere. Also, James Norwood to score anytime. Those are my favorites of this week. I also, quick flash if I can, I love Arsenal this week. They're going to beat Man United on the road. You heard it here first. Kieran Tierney back is big. Good left back for them. Hector Bellerin's back as well. I like Callum Chambers. That defense is starting to look good. And I heard they talked about it over here, Flash. They scrolled it on the bottom of the TV over here. Man United has committed to rebuilding.
There's a lot of rebuilding to be done.
If I'm a Man United player, that's not the kind of things I want to hear going into a game against a team like Arsenal that love going forward and I think are improved defensively. I like Arsenal Football Club. You always ask me about an NFL pick as well, Flash. I got one for you if you want it. I gave you the Detroit Lions last week. I'm going to give you one this week. I like the New Orleans Saints to beat Dallas.
Monday night.
This is a tough no, I believe it's Sunday.
No, it's a Monday night. Monday night game, Dallas Saints.
Yeah, why did I think it was Sunday? Well, either way, whenever it is, this is a tough spot for Dallas. They've been really overvalued, I think. This is a good team in New Orleans, a team that doesn't lose often in that building. And I know Drew Brees isn't playing. Teddy Bridgewater's good enough. Get the ball to the playmakers, Kamara and Thomas. This Dallas team, they love to run the football. That's going to be tough to do against the Saints defensive line that I think's improved. I think the Saints hang around here, and I think they get a win here. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people this week.
Okay, well, my thoughts on the game, I've gone through it in-depthly because it's the Monday night game. I'm probably going to go with a prop. I'm going to look to maybe get over 4.5 touchdowns in the game. I think run defense of Dallas up against Kamara. Listen, there's so many great matchups. I think it's probably one of the best matches we've seen. So obviously, we love Baltimore and Kansas. I'm probably going to make my decision Monday evening on that game.
Hey, Flash.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is a Sunday night game, not a Monday night game. Sunday night down in New Orleans. Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern. Let me tell you one more thing about this game, Flash. This is a good thing to live by. If you are a NFL bettor, notice this line opened at 3, okay? Dallas, public loves them. People love betting on them. The whole world's betting Dallas here, yet the line is going down to 2.5. That is a swift kick in the balls to take New Orleans here. This is a trap game if you're betting Dallas. Don't fall into the trap in the NFL. They do this all the time. This underdog is going to get the job done. It's just too hard to not do it. Take the Saints. They're going to beat Dallas Sunday night.
Yeah, let's cheer on Green Bay as well tonight. They're my double play.
No, stop it. Stop that.
Listen, I love that. I know you're a big
you're
eagle. I know you're a big eagle, but you're also banged up. So listen, good luck to us on Saturday, mate. And let's have a great weekend, eh?
Look forward to it. Thanks as always for having me, Flash. Appreciate it.
Hey, love your work. See you soon. Take care, big man.
Thank you.
So that's Big Man on campus going through the lower leagues. We did Premier League punters earlier. Go over to our oddsmarket.com. You can see everything we've done. We've got plenty going on. NFL tomorrow, but before that, at an earlier time, we've got La Liga and we've got Serie A. Normally we do it midweek, but they had midweek games. So I'll be joined by the gang to go through the Italian and the Spanish cards. Until then, see you soon.